All right, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the housing protection event. Today we're going to be covering eviction and foreclosure. My name is Aaron Berry. I will be hosting this evening. I am from Homie Real Estate here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. All right. All right, so today we were going to be learning about how to prevent / mediate eviction, how to prevent mediate foreclosure, and how to get free help from experts. So today you're going to be hearing from a variety of people, some of them real estate agents, some of them from different charitable causes and coalitions. And we're here just to make sure everybody knows their rights. It's really important that, with everything going on, that you are most prepared to go into this situation. So we want to be here for you. And so that's why we're going to host this webinar. And this will also go ahead and this will be available after. And then you'll also have access to some counseling information after as well. So, and again, we always are an equal housing opportunity provider. I'm from Homie, Nevada, B.144145. Would like to give a special thanks to the community. So our partners at the City of Las Vegas, the Nevada Housing Division, Home Again, Homie, Nevada Partners, Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, and Make the Road Nevada. After we go through and talk to our partners, we will go ahead and also have a small panel that'll be question and answer section. So in that panel, we have Nisi Walker, who is an incredible buyer agent from Homie. We'll have Janet Espinoza, who is a seller agent from Homie. Ella Garcia is a housing counselor from Nevada Partners, and I will be there just to kind of steer the ship. So we're going on here. So first up top, we are going to hear from Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, and that representative is going to be Taylor Altman. So I will put her on the screen right now. Hi, Taylor. How are you doing?
Hi, Aaron. I'm Aaron, right? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi. Yes, I'm Taylor Altman. I'm a staff attorney at the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada. I work on the consumer rights team, and I'm also on the eviction prevention program team. And so our goal is to really prevent as many evictions as possible, provide legal representation, counsel and advice, and really any help we can for tenants in our community.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, I will give you the floor here, and if you need me to change the slide or anything, just let me know. Okay.
Sure. And I also have some information of my own that I'm going to present as well. Okay, so tonight we're just going to be talking about tenant rights. I will cover the slides here as well as the scope of America's and specifically Nevada's eviction crisis during the pandemic. I'll provide a brief overview of Nevada's summary eviction process and then what tenant protections tenants have, including rental assistance programs and Assembly Bill 486, which is a new state law that actually allows tenants to assert an affirmative defense to certain types of evictions based on a pending rental assistance application. And then last, I'll just go over some top tips for tenants when they're dealing with evictions or they just want to know more about their rights. So first, let me just talk a little bit about the scope of the problem. So as of May, it's estimated that 5.7 million American households are currently behind on rent. Americans owe nearly $20 billion in rent debt. So we just really have staggering rent debt all around our country. And here in Nevada, between 142,000 and 218,000 households are actually at risk for eviction. And to put that a little bit into context, that's 327,000 to 501,000 individuals in our state who are currently at risk for eviction. 75% of Nevada tenants actually are evicted because they don't file an answer with the court in response to an eviction notice from their landlord. So unfortunately, if the tenant doesn't take any action, that means that they get evicted by default. It's a really unfortunate situation, and that's what we're trying to prevent here at the Legal Aid Center. So I will just talk a little bit about tenants' rights. If you could just make that slide a little bit bigger for me, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, so our eviction prevention hotline is our main number, 702-386-1070. If you have an eviction notice, an eviction order, and anything really that you have a question about, or you just want to know more about your rights, you can feel free to call us. You can also visit us on the web, lacsn.org, and we have forms and landlord-tenant information and more information about eviction laws as well. The Civil Law Self-Help Center is located in the Regional Justice Center in downtown Las Vegas over on Lewis Avenue. And you can walk in, get eviction forms, talk to someone about your eviction issues. So we do have a lot of resources in the community as well as on the web. You can also get assistance through our Tenants Rights Ask a Lawyer program. So it's a weekly program where tenants can sign up to get telephone consultations with a volunteer attorney or one of our staff attorneys if they're unrepresented and they're just in need of legal advice about their rights in housing law or in eviction. Okay. So just a brief overview. So currently we don't have any eviction protections in place in terms of a moratorium. So before, many of you are probably aware, we had various statewide moratoriums from emergency directives of Governor Sisolak. So unfortunately, those have expired. Now, previous to this, there was the CDC federal eviction moratorium, which wasn't quite exactly a moratorium. Tenants had to take action by giving a declaration to their landlord saying that they're facing COVID-related hardship and are unable to pay rent. But now, unfortunately, the Supreme Court of the U.S. Has declared the CDC moratorium to be null and void. So that's really not a protection that tenants can invoke anymore, unfortunately. So we don't have any more federal protections. We don't have any more state protections other than Assembly Bill 486, which I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. So we can, if you could just turn to the next slide, please. Okay. So just going back a little bit to what we do, we help in various areas with tenants' rights and evictions. We also have immigration attorneys that can help with DACA, VAWA, U-Visa petitions, and other topics related to immigration. We also do divorce, custody, and temporary protective orders for victims of domestic violence. We assist with bankruptcy. Consumer fraud, including illegal debt collection, fraudulent contracts, payday loans, title loans, really you name it when it comes to the consumer context, we may be able to handle it. So you can feel free to reach out to us. Okay, so that was my little plug for legal aid. And our assistance is completely free. And nobody ever gets a bill. None of our clients ever see a bill. So we are happy to work with tenants and advise them of their rights. Okay, so here's just a brief introduction to eviction. Let's see. So a landlord, in order to remove a tenant from the property, a landlord can't use what's called self-help eviction, right? So they can't just change the locks on their own. They can't force someone to leave the property. They can't call the cops and have them trespassed off the property. If there's a landlord-tenant relationship, the landlord has to go through the eviction process. And generally, it's going to be the summary eviction process, which in Nevada is a quick, fairly easy, I'm sure landlords would say it's fairly easy process, and it's only about possession of property. So it's not about money judgments, like they can't get a judgment for back rent like you might be able to get in another state. It's only about who has possession of the property, landlord or tenant, who is the rightful possessor of this property. All of the cases go through justice court in whichever jurisdiction you're in. So that's the lower state court. The higher state court is district court. Summary evictions always begin with an eviction notice that's served on the tenant. So the major types are a 7-day pay rent or quit notice, a 30-day no cause. That's if a tenant pays rent on a month-to-month basis. The landlord just doesn't have to have a reason. They can evict because they just want their property back. So in that case, they would give a 30-day no cause notice followed by a 5-day unlawful detainer notice. And the tenant responds to that second notice, the 5-day unlawful detainer. They can also give a 5-day lease violation notice, followed by a 5-day notice, 3-day notice of nuisance. That's, classic example would be tenant plays music too loud or, is committing waste to the property. They've destroyed the property or something. And that's always followed by a 5-day unlawful detainer. So it's really important that the tenant looks at the eviction notice to see what they need to do, if they can respond, when they need to respond. And you file an answer with the court. So you're basically saying, I have some kind of defense to this eviction. And in some cases, you can actually select mediation, where you can go with a neutral third party and they help the landlord and tenant try to work out an agreement. So let's say tenant has filed an answer. There's no mediation available or the tenant doesn't want mediation. After that notice period for the first eviction notice has expired, the landlord can file a complaint. And once those two things are filed, there's a hearing that's held before a justice of the peace or a hearing master if you're in Las Vegas Justice Court. So the judge or hearing master will listen to both sides, make a decision. If the landlord wins, an eviction order will be entered. It goes to the constable. The constable comes and performs the lockout of the tenant. So if the tenant wins, then an order denying the summary eviction will be entered and no eviction takes place. But if a tenant, oftentimes the first time a tenant will realize that they're being evicted is when they get the eviction order posted on their door. And at that point, a lot of tenants call us and they have, rights and remedies, at every stage. But at that stage, once they've gotten the eviction order, they can file a post-order motion. They can file a motion to stay, asking the court for extra time, a motion to set aside, which says I have some legal reason why this eviction should not be granted, or they can appeal to the higher state court, which is the district court. So that's kind of just a 30,000-foot view of the summary eviction process. There are a lot of little complications along the way, but that's basically the process. Tenant gets an eviction notice, files an answer, landlord files a complaint, goes to a hearing, and then either party wins or loses depending on the evidence. Okay, so the next thing, responding to an eviction notice. Yes, I think that, I think I pretty much covered this. You can ask the judge to stay or delay the eviction for up to 10 days, set aside if you have some reason, why the eviction shouldn't have been granted in the first place. Or you can appeal the eviction to the district court. So there are options once a tenant has gotten an eviction order against them. Okay, so now I'd just like to talk a little bit about tenant protections. So many of you might have heard of the CARES Housing Assistance Program. That's a rental assistance program that provides federal money. Currently, or when I last checked, it was about $300 million available for rental assistance for Clark County tenants. And that's distributed through the Clark County CHAP program. Tenants can get up to 12 months of assistance. They do have to show some pandemic-related hardship. But the good thing is that there's no cap on the amount. So I've seen a tenant get, $15,000 or $20,000 in back rent paid through CHAP. There are other, qualifications that you have to meet for CHAP. You have to upload certain documents to a portal. Eventually, you're assigned a caseworker, and the caseworker will process the application. The last step would be for the landlord to actually sign a verification form and provide a tax document to CHAP and then get paid. So it's pretty simple to apply for CHAP. The one thing is they're kind of backlogged. So it's just a bit of a waiting period for the rental applications to all be processed. So there's another type of rental assistance that's available. It's called RAFT, Rental Assistance for Tenants. Unfortunately, it's only available for residents of the city of Las Vegas. So even though your address might be Las Vegas, Nevada, you might not be eligible for RAFT because it's only for the city proper. So you can check on the RAFT website to see if you're within the city limits. It's a pretty small, I was surprised to see how small the city of Las Vegas actually was. Most of what we think of Las Vegas is actually unincorporated Clark County. RAFT provides rental assistance for up to 18 months. So tenants who have applied for CHAP, if they've already maxed out on their 12 months of CHAP, it's okay because they can apply and get 6 more months through RAFT if they are City of Las Vegas residents. Again, you have to show pandemic-related hardship. Something else that I wanted to mention about CHAP, and I believe this is also true of RAFT, is that they don't look at someone's immigration status. So someone can be undocumented and still be eligible for and receive CHAP assistance. There's one other rental assistance program in North Las Vegas. It's through an organization called HopeLink. And the program is only for residents of North Las Vegas, so you have to have a North Las Vegas zip code. The tenant has to have lived in North Las Vegas for at least 6 months and has to have lived within the state for at least a year. This one, you do have to be a U.S. citizen and able to demonstrate COVID financial impact, such as you're furloughed or terminated from your job, reduced hours, you have great medical expenses, and you have to be a low-income person. So this program in North Las Vegas only pays for 6 months of back rent and 6 months going forward. So it's not really a substitute for CHAP rent, which will pay 12 months back, but it could be a good option for a tenant who's exhausted their CHAP benefits and maybe has like 1 or 2 months in arrears and who needs to relocate and pay rent going forward. So it sounds to us like the program is processing and pays pretty quickly. So that's something to explore if you're a North Las Vegas resident. Okay, I know I've probably gone over my 15 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes or so, but they're just...
It's totally okay. No,
okay.
no, thank you. We so much appreciate what you guys do for the community. So you are the experts in the field. So we're very thankful for the time. So yeah, if you've got a couple more things, or if you're good, either way.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, I do have a couple more things. So Assembly Bill 486, I just want to make sure I go through all the tenant protections. So Assembly Bill 486, it was just passed this recent legislative session, and new state law that has 2 defenses for tenants based on a rental assistance application. So if they have, for instance, a non-payment of rent eviction, lease violation eviction, or no cause eviction, so those 3, and they're behind on rent, and they have a pending rental assistance application, they can assert this AB 486 defense. So it comes in 2 flavors. So the first one is I have a pending rental assistance application, which means that the court should stay the case. And then once the rental assistance application is approved and the landlord gets a check, the case should be dismissed. Number 2 defense, the other flavor of 486, is that the landlord is not cooperating at all with the rental assistance process. They just say they don't want the CHAP money for whatever reason. Maybe they just want the tenant out. Maybe they want to rent the property for a higher rent. Either way, they're just not cooperating with the tenant. So the case will be stayed until the tenant can prove that the landlord is just not cooperating or doesn't want to take the CHAP funds. Then the case will be dismissed. Most cases are going to go through mediation now. It's just kind of the nuisance cases and some other like one-off type cases that are probably not going to go through mediation. But now a tenant can select for mediation on an answer form in response to an eviction notice. And this is great because not only does it allow landlords and tenants to try to mediate their dispute, but also it gives at least a 30-day stay for the tenant to either find another place to live or to work things out with the landlord. Another good thing about the AB 486 defense is that it can be raised at any point during the proceeding. So even if there's been an eviction order entered into the case, meaning the tenant has already lost, but they do raise this defense, what the court should do is stay the case until the tenant can prove that the rental assistance application has been approved and the landlord is paid, and then the case gets dismissed. So kind of covered a lot there, but I'll just wrap it up with our main tips for tenants. So if you're behind on the rent or you're about to fall behind, definitely apply to CHAP, to RAFT, to the North Las Vegas HopeLink program. And if you have a pending rental assistance application, make sure everything's up to date, because we've heard the CHAP does close applications if a tenant has not provided the most up-to-date information or, all of the documentation that's required. Second thing is always file an answer with the court if you get an eviction notice. Like, even if the landlord says, oh, don't worry about it, we just gave this as, this is just part of our normal monthly process, you're behind on your rent, here, take an eviction notice, definitely respond to that no matter what the landlord says, because landlords don't always tell the truth. And either out of, either ignorance, or they're just misleading the tenant as to their rights, it really is important that you read that eviction notice very closely so you know what to do. I know, of course, not all landlords are like that, just to qualify. Many landlords they do take this very seriously, and they do care about their tenants and want to make sure that their rights are protected as well. It's just, we want to make sure from the tenant's end, they understand what needs to be done. So read the eviction notice. If you get one, file an answer with the court. You can raise the 486 defense if you have a pending rental assistance application, elect mediation to try to delay your case and try to work things out with your landlord. And of course, if you have questions, you can always call Legal Aid Center.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time again and all that information. Yeah, it's good that you guys got everybody's back in the community. It's beautiful to see. So thank you so much again for your time, Taylor, and we'll talk to you later, okay?
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has any questions for me now before I kind of jump off.
Beautiful. Let me see if we get any. No questions in the chat just yet, but if you want to give your email address one more time, then I'm sure somebody, or they may be happy to reach out.
Sure. Yeah, I can. I'll give the phone number, and I can give my work email as well. I can put it in the chat.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Sure. Yeah, so we're 702-386-1070. That's our main line. Okay, yeah, I'll just put it in the chat here, and then you can share it. And this is me, taltman@lacsn.org.
And we are going to also send out information to all of our commenters and everybody after as well, with a list of all the resources. So they will also have your info there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Erin, for having me. It's really been a pleasure, and happy to work with you guys and help tenants in the community however we can.
Anything we can do to help the community, no, absolutely there for you. So thank you, Taylor.
All right. Thanks.
All right,
have a good evening. Bye.
You too. Bye. All right. And now next we are going to have Ella Garcia from Nevada Partners join in. So, hey, Ella, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? First of all, I want to say thank you to Homie for providing such a great platform for us to share all this useful information to our community, and to Taylor for really laying out the platform for us and, giving out all that information that our, community is very much in need of. And yeah, as Erin said, for those of you who are listening at home and tuning in on Facebook Live, please make sure you use your chat. We are monitoring it. Put in your questions so that we can help answer those as well. We will have questions during the talking points, but also we'll have a Q&A. But yeah, thank you so much for having me today, Erin.
Thank you. I'll let you take over.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, my name is Ella Garcia. I work for Nevada Partners. I am a housing program specialist and am the project manager for the Affordable Housing and Wealth Creation Pillar. In our housing department, we provide homebuyers education workshops. The education workshops are geared towards people who want to purchase a home or who already own a home. We also teach fair housing pre-purchase education workshops to identify discriminatory housing practices. We also have financial budget and credit repair workshops to help individuals manage their money and manage their credit. Outside of that, we do financial management, budget, and counseling to help individuals gain control of their money and credit. Outside of that, we do pre-purchase counseling to evaluate the readiness of homeownership. So we all know a lot of people want to buy a house, and the first thing they do is like, let's go talk to a realtor, which is very exciting, right? But we want to make sure you're ready to buy a house and you have all your ducks in a row. We also offer non-delinquency post-purchase workshops and counseling to make sure you can sustain your home and make sure you're making your payments on time. And if you need help, we can also provide you help with that, or provide you resources to other nonprofits that can also be able to help you financially. We have the mortgage delinquency and default resolution counseling to prevent delinquency and prevent foreclosure. Again, we do have multiple programs at Nevada Partners. These are just a few that I just named. So it's very important that you contact us if you're running into any of these type of problems. We do currently have a program for rental, utility, and mortgage assistance for the eligible zip codes that will appear on the screen shortly. But just to name a few, it's 89030, 89031, all the zip codes in North Las Vegas. And if you would like to check for your eligibility or get pre-screened, you can call our receptionist, who is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the phone number is 702-844-8000. If you are looking for utility, mortgage, or rental assistance, you can join us for our orientation on the 20th of this month. However, you must pre-register for that orientation. Don't just show up. I know people get excited, but you must register just so that we can stay within COVID guidelines. It's Monday, the 20th of this month, and then we'll be able to tell you all the documents you'll need for those programs and how to get qualified for the programs or for the assistance that we offer, which is mortgage assistance, utility assistance, and rental assistance. All right. But outside of that, if you would like to contact us and get in touch with a housing counselor, we are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are a HUD-approved HUD housing counseling agency. You can also visit our website to get more information regarding other services that we offer. For example, youth services. We do have a job fair coming up this Saturday. So visit our website, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and you can see any upcoming events. Our website is nevadapartners.org, or you can call us at 702-844-8000. And if you have any questions for me, you can most definitely write them in the chat. Awesome. And then I will move forward with Make the Road Nevada. Make the Road Nevada is an amazing community partner who has done a lot of great work with a lot of the different community partners, including Legal Aid of Southern Nevada, Nevada Partners, and a few other nonprofits working within this space. So they're a great community partner. They're looking to, partner with people who are wanting to, make a change in our system. They have worked alongside many community members pushing equitable housing for everyone, and they continue to fight for the rights of their tenants, protections in the legal system. Services they offer include emergency assistance, rental assistance, help with unemployment, and much more. You can also visit their website at maketheroadnevada.org/resources to get more info. Or you can type in the chat, hey, I need more info on Make the Road Nevada, and we can definitely connect you with somebody who needs that help, okay? Or who can help you with that. I'll go ahead and pass it on to my colleague, Miss Kathy Freeman from NHSSN. She's going to be talking to you about Home Again.
All right, and I'll get her in just one moment. Thank you so much again, Ella, for pulling some double duty with us, and we'll see you again later with the panel discussion, okay?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Hey, Kathy, how are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you. How are you guys tonight?
I am doing wonderful, and I hope the chat is doing okay as well. But thank you so much again for your time, and I will get you going right here on Home Again.
Great. The Home Again program is a homeowner relief program. It's a free public service that was created by the Office of the Nevada Attorney General, and it educates Nevada residents on housing resources that they may not be available to. It is what's considered a one-stop shop. So you can call the 1-855 number. It's one, and we'll put it up in the chat. It's 1-855-457-4646. 4638, and you can speak to a representative and let them know about your housing situation, and they can give you resources to different programs. Some of the partners that the Home Again program is in partnership with is the Office of the Nevada Attorney General, Money Management International. We partner with Nevada Legal Services and the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, as well as Nevada Partners, my agency, Neighborhood Housing Services of Southern Nevada, as well as a host of other HUD certified approved agencies. The Home Again program does have a calendar of different processes and different events that some of our partners are putting on. So you can visit the homeagainnevada.gov website, and their calendar is going to tell you all the events that a lot of the agencies that are on this call, as well as some other partnering agencies, are doing. They do partner with our first panelist, Legal Aid, for their biweekly free Ask a Lawyer program. So that's one of the things that they help administer, as well as different resources throughout the county. So they can help you with questions on loan modifications, foreclosures and forbearances. And actually, if you're even looking to purchase a home, there are still down payment assistance programs that are out there that are free to the public if you actually are looking at purchasing a home. And I know that's something that a lot of people aren't really looking at in this type of economy. But if you find yourself in a position to be able to purchase a home, there is down payment assistance funds out there. We also do, at Neighborhood Housing Services, we do administer Nevada reverse mortgages. We do HECM counseling for our senior populations that are looking to enter into reverse mortgages. And we also administer the Henderson Utility Assistance Program. So you can again call the 1-855-457 number, 4638, and in that they can the resources that are available from the representatives can give you all of the information that you need for those programs. One of the other things that I could mention is, again, it's a one-stop shop. So the Nevada Home Again program basically gathers information from all of our partners and just is putting it out there to yourself as a resource. They also work, again, really closely with our Nevada Legal Aid and the Nevada Legal Services to make sure that our population is not the victim of scams. So that borrowers need to pay attention to access to assistance to make sure that they are not being taken advantage of or victims of scam. They also work very closely with the attorneys under the Attorney General program to make sure that homeowners are aware of mortgage-related scams, and that they do not, even though they do not provide personal information or to pay money to anyone who calls to offer services that basically you can get for free through one of the community partners. So it's a great resource to the community. It's been around for a couple of years. It was a multi-state settlement in which Nevada joined for the 48 other states for a $25 billion federal state settlement with the nation's 5 largest banks. So that's how this program is funded, through our Attorney General program. So again, if you need some information, please feel free to reach out to one of our Home Again partners and at least call and talk to us about some of the things that we can potentially offer to you. I know my agency, as well as my partner Ella at Nevada Partners, we do a lot of foreclosure and a foreclosure mediation and modification. We assist a lot of residents with submitting their applications to different resources like NAHAC for rental assistance and our CARES CHAP program, which is still a really great resource. They are a little backlogged and, they're working through that, but still great resources available to our community partners. So thank you for your time. And if you have questions, I will be around in the chat section to answer any questions for you.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much for Kathy for presenting and being there again for the community and making a real impact. So thank you so much for your time. And if you have any questions about specific questions about like forbearance and stuff like that, we are more than happy to do our best to answer any questions. Obviously, there are specific situations that we won't be able to address, but certainly doesn't hurt to ask. So thank you again, Kathy, and thanks for sticking around a little bit. All right.
Sure, sticking around. Thank you, guys.
All right, and next up, we will have some people from HOME, some of our wonderful agents. That'll be Nisi Walker and Janet Espinoza. And so, hi, how y'all doing today?
Hi, we're good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. I can hear you just fine. Your HOME stickers look great. So tell us a little bit about HOME. Let's get into it. Oh, shoot. Guys, sorry, I kicked you off for a second there, but now I learned what that button does, so that's okay. I'll let you have the floor.
Cool. So HOME is a full service real estate agent, our company, that's enabled by tech and top 100 local real estate agents. And what we want to do is really make homeownership possible, easy, affordable, and accessible for all. We encourage you to visit home.com to get started. We have a lot of options available to help you with home ownership, a lot of programs, including down payment assistance and other programs that we'll talk about here very shortly.
HOME helps 100% rebate. Wow. Since HOME is passionate about helping the community and loves to give back, for those in Las Vegas directly impacted by COVID or forced to sell their homes to avoid foreclosure, HOME will rebate the entire listing fee back to the seller at close of escrow. So please equip yourself with the information to make the best decision for you and your family.
So if you're not sure what to do,
HOME has your back.
Yep. So you can contact HOME, visit home.com/buy. We can help you with consultations as agents and to get you started in this process. So that way you aren't facing this alone. We do care about the community. We want to do what we can to help all of our homeowners out there that are facing these hardships right now. So reach on over to us and let us see how we can help you out.
Absolutely, guys. I would feel comfortable with you guys having my back. So thank you guys for having us and showing up today. And we are going to now hop into our question and answer section, which will also feature our wonderful HOME agents, as well as Ella Garcia from Nevada Partners. And if you got any questions for Kathy as well, she'd be more than happy to help address those. So let's get going right now. All right. So many wonderful people in one place. So I just kind of want to kick things off by asking some general questions that, come up a lot in the real estate process. It is such an opaque process. It's really difficult to understand what's going on, especially for like first-time home buyers and people who are entering the market for the first time. Now, Nisi, you spoke earlier about that Home is Possible program. Could you tell us like a little bit about that and then like what the requirements would be?
Right. So the Home is Possible program, it is a statewide program. And what it does is it provides down payment assistance for down payment, for closing costs. There's no first-time home buyer requirement that's associated with it. It's for first-time home buyers, for teachers, for heroes. So if you're a military or a veteran, VA loans do qualify for this. And there's financing also available for manufactured homes. So it's not just for single family homes. You can also get a manufactured home. So there are some requirements. It's intended for those who need down payment assistance. So you cannot have a current property at the time of closing. That's one of the requirements. It's for any government loans. So if we're looking at FHA loans, for VA loans, any of those types of loans, you must have a qualifying income below $105,000. So it's open for a lot of people. We want to make homeownership possible. Additionally, the home price must be below about $548,000. And you have to have a minimum credit score of 640. So that's very important. The credit score is taken into consideration when we're looking at these programs. And you have to have this residence as your primary residence. So In addition to this, to getting these programs, there's a first-time a home buyer education certification course that would be required as well. And so that goes over the process of what it looks like to actually purchase a home, to maintain it after purchasing, what costs are needed as you're buying your home, and how can this program help you. So if you are interested in this, if you think these qualifications you meet those qualifications, just visit homeispossiblenv.org and get started on looking at the buyers area. And there's a lot of information there, including contact information for us agents to get started.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. So Janet, so for current owners that are like in hardship, what kind of steps can they take to begin that build back?
There's quite a few steps I think that are very important. I think the first step is don't ignore the problem. You want to try to reinstate your loan, but of course there is a process in doing so. The second thing would be either contact your lender or your mortgage holder to see, to let them know that you are having this hardship due to the pandemic. If you get any mail, open any and all mail that they're sending to you, that's very important to know what they're trying to offer you, because sometimes they will give you options as well. Know your mortgage rights. It's very important what your rights are moving forward, how you can prevent it if there's any other options available as well. Understand your foreclosure prevention options, because there are several out there, some that are protected by HUD, and some that are outside of that. If it is HUD, make sure, if it's HUD approved, try to go through a HUD counseling program or a company that assists you with that. Not really a foreclosure recovery company, because those can be a scam where they'll ask you for money up front, but this process is $0. There is no out-of-pocket money, whether you're going through a real estate agent or you're going directly to your mortgage company. There shouldn't be a fee at all when it comes to trying to save your home. Prioritize your spending, because they will look at that when you do submit your documentation to the bank. They will look at your assets. They will look at your spending. They will verify a lot of information, but just keep that in mind when you are ready to move forward with this process. And like I said, try to avoid any foreclosure prevention companies, because there are, foreclosure recovery scams out there that you really want to try to avoid. So educate yourself as best as you can.
Absolutely. Education is so crucial, because a lot of people just don't know the steps, unfortunately, when we get going. So Ella, I would like to bring you up. So what is like housing counseling, or like Janet was discussing some of the fees associated, some like scammers. So could you tell us a little bit about housing counseling and like what kind of costs are associated with it?
Yeah, absolutely. When I heard Janet speaking about housing counseling and being informed, I couldn't help but to snap my fingers underneath my desk, because I was like, yes, girl, yes. She was like nothing but fire. And I appreciate that coming from a housing counseling agency, because we want our realtors and our lenders and our professionals to speak that language. Yes, go to a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. There is no fee associated with helping you save your home. Come to us, Nevada Partners, NHSSN, other nonprofits who are doing this work and who are working in this space. We are here to help you and help you save your home. The worst case scenario is you sell your home and you have to relocate somewhere else. But obviously, we're here for the long run. We're here to help you conserve your home and sustain your home. But obviously, yes, we're not here for the money. We're not going to charge you. If there's a nonprofit charging you to save your home, then that's not the right one to go with. But yeah, there is a lot of scammers, a lot of people who are saying, hey, come with me. If you pay a fee, I'll help you. Don't do that. Go to a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. You can Google HUD-approved housing counseling agency on your phone right now. It'll allow you to search a HUD-approved agency in your zip code, or it'll tell you the closest one to your area, and you can go to them as well. So as long as you type in your zip code, it'll tell you which one is closest to you. Another thing that I heard you say is stay informed, right? Janet was talking about staying informed. That is the key to your success. That's going to be the key to you keeping your home or the key to you buying a home. Regardless of your situation, staying informed is like the best thing you can do. In the process, if you're trying to avoid foreclosure, you're going to get professionals from all over the place. And when I mean professionals, I mean your cousins, your aunts, your neighbors, your friends. They're going to want to give you some real professional advice. But the best advice you could get is from a professional who's already working in that space. So if you're looking for advice on real estate, speak to a realtor. If you're looking at advice about learning the steps to home ownership, go speak to a HUD housing counseling agency so you can take a home buyer's education class. If you want to learn what you need to work on to become home ownership ready, you can also speak to a HUD agency class. What are the preliminary things you need to get approved for a loan? Then you want to speak to a lender. Speak to the professionals who are already working in the space to make sure you have everything you need in order for you to have or to be ready for home ownership or to save your home, right? So just like Janet said, stay informed, get the information from the people who have it, and continue to seek out assistance from the professionals. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ella. I appreciate that. Nisi, so is there anything, I know you work with Homie, is there anything that Homie's doing for like home buying right now to help out those needs?
Yeah, so we understand that sometimes when selling your home and going through this process, there's a need to buy another home. Homie is running a program right now where they'll split up to 50% of the commissions with you when you buy a home with Homie. There are some other terms and conditions that apply, such as using a Homie agent, and some other things that we require as well. But it's a great opportunity for you to get into a new home with the minimal amount of cost possible for you. So again, Homie is really passionate about saving you money and the consumer money. And with that, there are these programs that are available to just help you with this process. We don't want to see you hurting anymore. So we want to make it as easy as we can for you. As I said earlier, Homie is a one-stop shop. So everything you'd like to get done, we can help you right here at Homie through this process. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you again very much. I am going to go ahead and bring Kathy back into our lovely panel of extremely brilliant women. I'm in awe of all of you. Thank you all so much for donating your time. It's absolutely incredible and such vital information for the community. And obviously there are a ton of people in forbearance, Kathy, right now. So like what would be the first steps if you are in forbearance?
I'm going to piggyback off of what Ellis said and say, please come and see a HUD housing counselor. HUD housing counselors are certified by HUD to assess situations. We also are very highly trained to interact with your lender. I could say that probably about 40% of all applications that I know my agency sees are people that are frustrated because they try to deal with the lender on their own. And sometimes we're given the runaround, sometimes we're not given documents in a timely manner. It was just a very frustrating process to them. So when you come and see a HUD housing counselor, basically we're going to look at your situation. We're going to do a budget with you. It's very important. It's very uncomfortable sometimes to people to actually do a budget and to do a realistic budget. I'm very blunt when I counsel and say, you can lie to me about your budget, but you can't lie to yourself. So be as realistic as possible. I mean, if in your budget you go to Starbucks every morning and you go and play bingo once a week, put it in your budget to us so that we can see the entire picture. And then when we look at that, that gives us a little bit of ammunition to go to your lender and say, look, this is what your client is dealing with us. Let's have a conversation and a solution. 9 times out of 10, when they see that a HUD housing counseling agency is involved in it, they are a lot more responsive, which is horrible in some cases, but effective nonetheless. So when you're dealing with your lender, there are also a lot of rules and regulations that your lender has to abide by in communicating with you and your head housing counselor. Things that have to be done in a timely manner, and then things that can be done within your budget. There's also different types of forbearances and modifications and things like that. Sometimes you can go into a forbearance and your mortgage payment is deferred for X amount of time. Sometimes those are forgiven. Sometimes they're added onto the back of your loan, and sometimes they're added as a second lien to your house. So those are also things that your housing counselor will help you to understand. And one of the best things that I think about housing counseling is all of this is free to you. We are, for the HUD housing counseling agencies, we work off of different grants and different funding sources so that we're able to provide that service to the public for free. There are lots of different agencies that will tell you that they can guarantee certain outcomes if you pay them a fee. That is never the case, never, because nobody can guarantee you anything. Everybody's situation is unique, and every lender is different. So, depending on how your loan was originated, whether it's an FHA loan, a Fannie Mae loan, a Freddie Mac loan, a government-backed loan, is all going to be the first step in how you're moving forward with those forbearances. And then you move into modification, where you actually modify your loan, whether it's a temporary modification, a permanent modification, could be a refinance. If it's an FHA loan, FHA has mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is an insurance policy that protects the lender should you default on your loan. It's not an insurance policy like homeowners insurance or hazard insurance. So those are in place that if you default, the lender still gets paid, and then you deal with everything else. FHA's mortgage insurance premium sometimes can help you go into a payment plan or pay off some of the default for you. So those are certain things that, one, your lender may not be as forthcoming to tell you, but your housing counseling agency is going to know that information and assess your situation and then deal with your lender accordingly. So I am a big advocate of housing counseling agencies. We do a lot of great work in the community, and we are here to stay. We're here to help you, in our good times and our bad times.
Absolutely, and we're lucky. We're lucky to have you. Thank you so much again for doing this and presenting for us. And with that, if we don't see any other questions, I will go ahead and call it a day for everybody. So again, I want to give a special thanks to our community partners, the City of Las Vegas, Nevada Housing Division, Home Again, Homey, Nevada Partners, Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, and Make the Road Nevada. And you know what? Let's go, Homey team. Let's go, everybody. Please reach out. I know, sometimes there can be a negative stigma with a lot of these things. Please, the best thing that you can do is reach out and know your rights and know how to proceed. So thank you again for listening in on us today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.